Hello, everyone. Sue.oneschuk here to continue the workbook in a course of miracles. And today we are on lesson 73. And today's lesson is, I will there be light. And it reads, today we are considering the will you share with God. This is not the same as the ego's idle wishes, out of which darkness and nothing arise. The will you share with God has all the power of creation in it. Our will and God's will are the same. So the ego's idle wishes are unshared and therefore have no power at all. Its wishes are not idle in the sense that they can make a world of illusions in which your belief can be very strong. It's the deep belief in the illusions and in the dream and in the world out there that's not real. But they are idle indeed in terms of creation. The illusion is idle. It's not the creation of God. They make nothing that is real. So when we're looking in the course in terms of the holy relationship, which is based from the Christ mind and the desire to be unified in love, what is shared there in that holy relationship is real. In the world of illusions, in the special relationship that is spoken of course, in the course, it's a relationship of the ego. It's the split mind. It's based in fear, and thus it's not real, because fear is false evidence that appears real, and we believe in it. So when it says here that the ego's idle wishes are unshared, there's nothing there to share. It's not real, but we make it real. And it goes on to say that idle wishes and grievances are partners or co-makers in picturing the world that you see. So the grievances that were spoken of in previous lessons maintain the idea of bodies, which is a separation. And in that idea of the bodies, that blocks the sharing of true communication, what is real. So our judgments, our grievances, our opinions, they prevent us, they blind us, they block us from seeing the Christ in others. So again, the idle wishes and grievances are partners and co-makers in picturing the world that you see. The wishes of the ego give rise to it, and the ego has a need for grievances in order to stay alive or to be to be vital, and which is necessary to maintain it. I'm going to read that again. The wishes of the ego give rise to it, and the ego's need for grievances, which are necessary to maintain it, peoples it with figures that seem to attack you and call for righteous judgment. I'm right, you're wrong, or I'm wrong and you're right. Righteous judgment. These figures become the middleman the ego employs to traffic in grievances. This is what keeps the action going on in terms of the world, again, being in that space of judgment and attacks and grievances and guilt and the rest. They stand between your awareness and your brother's reality. It blocks your awareness of the light that is in each one of us, that is in others. So beholding them, you do not know your brothers or yourself. So as long as we stay in these, these idle wishes and these grievances, we are not going to see the light. We can either be in one place or the other. We can't be in both at the same time. And in this lesson, we're really calling forth, it says, I will there be light. That is the power. When our will is, when we recognize, I should say, that our will and God's will is the same. So your will is lost to you in this strange bartering, in which guilt is traded back and forth and grievances increase with each exchange. Well, we keep that going on. Your will is lost. Can such a world have been created by the will the Son of God shares with his Father? Did God create disaster for his Son? Creation is the will of both together. It's the will of both the Father and the Son. And remember up here that it is the will you share with God has all the power of creation in it. So would God create a world that kills himself? Try today, today we will try once more to reach the real world that is in accordance with your will. The light is in it because it does not oppose the will of God. It is not heaven, but the light of heaven shines on it. Darkness has vanished. The ego's idle wishes have been withdrawn. When we reach that, the real world. Yet the light that shines upon the world reflects your will. And so it must be in you that we look for it. So it says your picture of the world can only mirror what is within. So if you feel guilt, then what you'll see is a guilty world. And if you see yourself as holy and as innocent, that's what you're going to see in the world. You'll see the holiness and the innocence in the world. So again, your picture of the world can only mirror what is within. The source of neither light nor darkness can be found without. The source is here. Remember, the world is not coming at us, it's coming from us. The world is not being done to us, it's being done by us. So forgiveness lifts the darkness and reasserts your will and lets you look upon a world of light. We have repeatedly emphasized that the barrier of grievances is easily passed and cannot stand between you and your salvation. The reason is very simple. Do you really want to be in hell? Do you really want to weep and suffer and die? And it says here, forget the ego's arguments, which seek to prove all this is really heaven. You know it is not so. You cannot want this for yourself. There is a point beyond which illusions cannot go. Illusions are limitless. With God, there is limitlessness. All things are possible. With the ego, there's nothing. With God, there's everything. Suffering is not happiness, and it is happiness that you really want. Such is your will in truth. And so salvation is your will as well. You want to succeed in what you're trying to do today. We undertake it with your blessing and your glad accord. We will succeed today if you remember that you want salvation for yourself. You want to accept God's plan because you share in it. You have no will that can really oppose it, and you do not want to do so. Salvation is for you. Above all else, you want the freedom to remember who you really are. Today, it is the ego that stands powerless. The ego is powerless before your will. Your will is free. Your will is free because it is one with God's, and nothing can prevail against it. Therefore, we undertake the exercise for today in happy confidence, certain that we will find what it is your will to find, and remember what it is your will to remember. No idle wishes can detain us, nor deceive us with an illusion of strength. Today, let your will be done, and forever. The insane belief that it is hell in place of heaven that you choose. Do you really choose hell? Are you really choosing hell instead of heaven? We will begin our longer practice periods with the recognition that God's plan for salvation, and only His, is wholly in accord with your will. I want happiness. I want peace. I want joy. I want abundance. Isn't that what you want? It is not the purpose of an alien power thrust upon you unwillingly. It is the one purpose here on which you and your Father are in perfect accord. Our divine inheritance is love, peace, joy, happiness, and abundance. It's there, it's available. We just, as we're doing this work, we're continuing to remove the blocks to that. You will succeed today. The time appointed for the release of the Son of God from hell and from all idle wishes. So I'm going to read that again. You will succeed today, the time appointed, okay, for the release of the Son of God from hell and from all your idle wishes. His will is not restored to his awareness. He is willing this very day to look upon the light in him and be saved. After reminding yourself of this and determining to keep your will clearly in mind, tell yourself with gentle firmness and quiet certainty, I will there be light. Let me behold the light that reflects God's will and mine. Then let your will assert itself, joined with the power of God and united with yourself, your whole self, your higher self, your holy self. Put the rest of the practice period under their guidance. Join with them as they lead the way. In the shorter practice periods, again, make a declaration of what you really want and say, I will there be light. Darkness is not my will. And this should be repeated several times an hour. It is most important, however, to apply today's idea in this form immediately when you are tempted to hold a grievance. Be aware of when a grievance comes up, when the judgment comes up, when the righteousness comes up, when the guilt, the shame, the blame, when it comes up. Immediately say, I will there be light. This will help you let your grievances go instead of cherishing your grievances and hiding them in the darkness. So today's lesson again is I will there be light. So I just want to conclude with saying that, again, the reminder, God's will is our will. And, remember that God is in our mind, and that the light is always available. We can't see this though. Again, if we believe the ego, if we believe the ego, the fear-based thought system, if we believe the ego's perceptions, if we believe that they're real, then, we will not see the light. The light, the love is what is real. And that is what we are doing this work for, is to heal ourselves from everything and anything that is unreal in this within ourselves, as we see it in the world, in the illusion, in the dream. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me in these videos day by day. You definitely support the building of a community here of A Course in Miracles. There are people that are practicing the Course in Miracles, living the Course in Miracles. And, as we come here together in these videos, I want to thank you because you support me as well in my continued healing. Thank you. And please, I thank you ahead of time for sharing these videos, for liking them, commenting. What did I say? Comment. Oh, yes. And please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm grateful for all of you that have. This community is building, and all of the liking and sharing and commenting and subscribing all builds what has to do with the algorithms with YouTube to grow in the space here together. So, and you know that as you share, you are supporting and putting this out, and possibly are providing that possibility for someone else who is looking for the Course in Miracles to find the information here in this book, and to be able to practice it in their life. All right, I'll conclude with that today. And I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson, in the next video, which is lesson 74. Have a love-filled day. And remember to say as often as possible, I will there be light. I will there be light. Bye for now.